The shiur is dedicated to Zecha Nishmas Rachel Leah Bas Reb Chaim Tzvi. We have been studying Yirmiyahu, and we actually, in last shiur, the last number of shiur, we have examined Perek Gimel and spoken at some length about different types of Nevi'ei Sheker and Nevuah, which of course is based on the Dvar Hashem. And the last element of Perek Gimel spoke about Masa Hashem. Masa, of course, could either refer to a Nevuah. We have in Tanakh a number of times that Nevi'im use the language of Masa, and we indicated that Masa is something that, a kind of burden that a Navi feels an obligation to somehow disengage from. A Navi, because the nature of the Nevuah is Nivs Vasayim, it has to come to the fore, it has to be articulated. We already saw the Psukim earlier on with reference to Yirmiyahu Navi, that the Navi speaks about the Nevuah in him, Ke'esh Ba'atzmosai, fire that's burning up from within and somehow has to emerge. That's one element of Masa on the positive side. On the other hand, we noted that Nevi'ei Sheker saw Nevuah as a Masa in a negative sense. Masa in the sense of a burden. Something that of course is difficult to bear, something that is somehow overwhelming, that is overly burdensome, one that I simply have no interest in whatsoever, that I want to get rid of, I want to disconnect myself from. These are two different perspectives. One a perspective of Nevi'ei Emes, and one a perspective of Nevi'ei Sheker. And Perek Gimel is very much devoted to this contrast between Nevi'ei Emes, who are Omeg B'Sod Hashem, as the Navi indicates. Yirmiyahu writes that in Perek Gimel Pasuk Yitches, Ki mi amad B'Sod Hashem, bi yireh bi yishmas dvaro, bi hikshiv dvaro vayishma. We pointed out the double language of Shmiya, and we compared it to the Psukim in Yisrael. Yisrael actually heard that Hashem Yisbarach had performed so many Yisrael to Klal Yisrael, and as a result, it impacted him, it affected him. And there are two translations we mentioned and two different usages of the verb Shmiya that found here in Perek Gimel Pasuk Yitches. One means to hear, and one means to actually act upon that which one heard. Or in Yiddish you would say Tzaheren or Tzudaheren. These are two different expressions, and they're found here in the Psukim of Perek Gimel Pasuk Yitches. And so we have a contrast, a very stark contrast between Nevi'ei Emes, such as Yirmiyahu Navi, that were Omei B'Sod Hashem, were Mashmiya Divrei Hashem, to the Nevi'ei Sheker, of course, who are involved in Chalomos, and we also stress very much Pasuk Chavches. We mentioned Rabbi Avishai and that Pasuk, Ashpag Rabbi Avishai. We examined two different types of Navi Sheker. One found in Parshat Miketz, one found in Parshat Shoftim. And we showed how both of these genre of Nevi'im find their way into Yirmiyahu Perek Gimel that speaks about the Nevi'ei Sheker. And the most striking pasuk here in Perek Gimel is the pasuk Chavches that mentions Hanavi asher ito chalom yisaper chalom vasher dvari ito yidaber dvari emes ma'ala teven esabor neum Hashem. The ability to distinguish between teven and bar, between straw and wheat, between the real McCoy, the authentic Nevuah, the real item, Mashen Kain, that which is straw, that which is Nevuah Sheker, that which is based on Chaloimus of Sheker. And of course the rule of thumb is a Navi who brings Klal Yisrael to Tshuva, he's a Navi Emes. And a Navi who Chas v'Sholom brings Klal Yisrael down the primrose path, that's a Navi Sheker. And his Nevuah, of course, should be disdained and completely rejected. In Perek David, here we have another very striking Perek. And the moment one reads this Perek, one should, of course, be reminded of Psukim elsewhere, and we'll read the Perek and we'll attempt to make the association and perhaps try to distinguish between the description that's found over here in this Perek and that which is found elsewhere in Chumash, as we will, Mitzvah Hashem, be referred to in a few moments. The Navi begins by telling us, and we'll read the Psukim in the Perek, and then we'll draw the proper conclusions that one should draw from this Perek. Hirani Hashem, Ribono Shalom showed me, V'hinei shnei duda'ei te'enim. Here we have 2 pots of te'enim, of figs, mu'adim with the Heichal Hashem, prepared before the Heichal of Hashem Yisbarach. Acharei Haglos Nebuchadnezzar Melech Babel Es Yechonyahu ben Yoakim Melech Yehuda. After Nebuchadnezzar had already sent it to Golus, Yechonyahu, the son of Yoakim, we've spoken about these Malachim a few program earlier. The Asari Yehuda and the princes of Yehuda as well were sent into Golus. And then we have 2 very famous